For the second game in a row, it will be Billy Kilmer and not Joe Theismann directing the Washington attack. Irv Cross was down in Washington earlier this week. And, Irv, what was the mood of the players?
Well, I tell you, Brett, there's a great deal of tension down there. As far as the Redskins are concerned, this is a do-or-die situation for them this afternoon, and today's game is their championship ball game.
And I know that one of the players you talked to specifically was Calvin Hill, who last week scored the first touchdown against St. Louis on a pass from Billy Kilmer. And Hill had some interesting thoughts.
Pressure time is here. Last week with the Cardinals, this week with the Rams. And when the pressure is on, George Allen inevitably turns to the oldest of the over-the-hillers to get the job done. Last week against St. Louis, 38-year-old Billy Kilmer brought offense back into the Washington game plan. Now I asked veteran Redskin running back Calvin Hill just what it is that Kilmer adds to the Washington attack.
Well, you know, without really getting into the sort of Joe Theismann versus Billy Kilmer controversy, I think the one thing that Billy has over Joe is experience. And, you know, against a complicated defensive team or a good defensive team, a team that's going to put up a lot of fronts, it's obviously to Billy's, you know, it's in his favor to be able to read these coverages. And he does. You know, he calls a good game, and he's able to throw to the right man.
Last week against St. Louis, 8 times the right man was none other than Calvin Hill, who also scored the game's first touchdown.
You know, it's been so long since I scored, I didn't really realize I'd scored until I looked up and I saw the goalpost, you know, 10 yards away from me, and I realized I must be pretty close to the end zone. And that felt real good. Yeah, there's sort of an interesting rivalry. I know when I was in Dallas, I thought that the biggest rivalry was between Washington and Dallas, and now it's almost a three-way thing. A lot like Yale, Princeton, and Harvard.
Except the caliber of play is just a little higher, I guess.
Oh, just slightly, right.
Calvin, the Ram defense has only given up 5 touchdowns in the last 6 games. Obviously, that concerns you. What do you have to do to beat them?
You know, up until St. Louis, that was about our average, you know, scoring 1 touchdown per game. And, you know, so I'm more concerned about that. Hopefully, St. Louis, the game against St. Louis got us out of that mold, and we realize we can score now, and we have confidence in the things that we do well offensively. And I think, you know, if we consider ourselves a playoff team, then it doesn't matter who we're playing. You know, the Rams, the Cowboys, you know, hopefully one of the AFC teams somewhere down the road. You know, you're going to play top teams, and if you can do the things you do well, then, you know, you do it against any team. And, you know, I look forward to this game. It should be a great challenge for the Redskins team.
Interesting how many fans have told me that when a season starts, they hope that Washington and George Allen lose big, and then it rolls along to about this time of the year, and they say, you got to give those old guys a lot of credit, and they start pulling for the Redskins.